Have you ever waited for a gift that never arrived, just like waiting forever for progress in learning English? Today's video tells a Christmas story in Denmark and shows you how giving can bring back your motivation. Winter in Denmark. Imagine stepping outside on a December morning in Denmark. The air bites your skin, your breath turns into little clouds in the wind. The ground is covered with a thin layer of snow, and your footsteps crunch like biting into crisp cookies. Sounds romantic, right? But the truth is, your brain is screaming, "Why didn't I stay under the blanket for 10 more minutes?" Winter in Denmark has a strange power. It makes people feel both tired and hopeful. You see candles glowing in the windows, golden lights hanging from balconies, and the faint smell of spiced cookies drifting from some kitchen. Science calls this the hygge effect, the cozy feeling when everything outside is freezing. Your brain loves that contrast. The colder it is outside, the warmer you feel inside. The Danes have turned winter into an art of living. They don't fight against the cold. They embrace it as part of life. Interestingly, studies show that people who practice finding small joys in winter are less likely to fall into depression. Instead of thinking, "Ugh, it's getting dark too early again," they think, "Perfect, another reason to light candles and eat cake." Basically, they turn darkness into an excuse to enjoy light. That I end this story. Winter isn't just a background. It's an invisible character. It slows down life, tests patience, and awakens the deepest expectations, especially during Christmas. You might be freezing in the streets, but inside, your heart glows with hope. The gift will arrive, joy will knock on the door. Yes, winter in Denmark is both harsh and beautiful. And sometimes, it's the waiting in the cold that becomes the very first lesson in patience, both in life and in your journey of learning English. The missing package. Picture this. The postman cycles past your street every day, his basket full of letters, bills, and Christmas cards. You keep watching, hoping to spot one special package with your family's name on it. But day after day, the basket is empty for you. It's like waiting for your phone to charge when you forgot to plug it in, pure torture. In Denmark, packages are serious business during Christmas. Families often order gifts weeks ahead, trusting that PostNord or another service will deliver on time. But reality doesn't always follow the tracking number. Research even shows that the stress of waiting for late packages activates the same parts of the brain as mild physical pain. No wonder people refresh their tracking page like it's TikTok. For this little Danish family in our story, the missing package isn't just cardboard and tape. It's a promise. Inside are gifts from relatives living far away, wrapped with love and memories. Without it, the Christmas tree feels incomplete, like a cake missing its sugar. You might laugh, but in a child's eyes, a delayed gift can feel like a broken world. What makes it worse is the silence. No knock on the door, no cheerful "God July" from the delivery guy. Just more waiting, more disappointment. It's like practicing English every night and not noticing any improvement. You start wondering if the effort even matters. But here's the twist. Sometimes the lesson is hidden in the delay, because missing something reminds you why it matters. A package that never arrives forces you to ask, is the real gift the thing inside, or the care behind it? The empty space under the tree might be painful, but it's also an invitation to fill it with something else, and maybe, just maybe, that something else will shine brighter than wrapping paper ever could. Child's expectation. Have you ever seen a child's face light up when they hear the word gift? It's like their brain releases fireworks before the wrapping paper even appears. For the little boy in this Danish family, the missing package is not just an object, it's the center of his holiday universe. He waits at the window, his nose pressed against the cold glass, every day imagining that today will be the day. Psychologists say children's brains are wired to exaggerate anticipation. The dopamine system, the feel-good chemical, spikes when they expect a reward, even higher than when they actually get it. That's why kids can spend hours dreaming about a toy car or a doll and then toss it aside 5 minutes after opening the box. The waiting is the magic. But here's the cruel joke. When the package doesn't come, the dopamine crashes harder than a dropped ice cream cone. For days, the boy asks, when will it come? Did the postman forget? Maybe Santa got lost? His parents answer gently, but you can see the disappointment building like snow on a roof. Quiet at first, but heavy enough to break something inside. And you know what? Adults aren't that different. We set goals, wait for progress, and when nothing shows up, we sulk like children staring at an empty tree. But here's the heart of it. Expectation teaches us vulnerability. To hope is to risk heartbreak. Yet without it, life becomes flat, like hot cocoa without sugar. The boy's wide eyes remind us of something we often forget as grown-ups. Hope is painful, but it's also proof that we're alive, and while his package still hasn't arrived, the lesson is already here, hidden in that fragile mix of joy and disappointment. Parents worry. Now shift the camera from the child's eager face to the parents' quiet eyes. They watch their son waiting at the window, day after day, his hope slowly thinning out like candle wax. And here's the secret torture of parenthood. You feel the disappointment twice. Once for your child, and once for yourself, because you can't protect them from it. Parents in Denmark, like everywhere else, juggle between practicality and emotion. They know packages get delayed, snowstorms happen, couriers make mistakes. But when they see their child's joy melting into sadness, logic doesn't matter anymore. Neuroscience backs this up. Mirror neurons in the brain make us literally catch the emotions of those we love. When a child frowns, a parent's brain echoes that frown inside. It's empathy turned into biology. So the father sits by the window too, pretending to check the weather, secretly hoping to spot a delivery van. The mother bakes extra cookies, not because she's hungry, but because the smell of cinnamon might soften the disappointment. They both know something their son doesn't. Gifts aren't about what's inside the box. They're symbols of love, effort, and belonging. But how do you explain that to a child who just wants to rip wrapping paper? Here's the funny twist: adults are often no better. We chase promotions, compliments, progress in English fluency, as if these are the gifts proving we matter. When they don't arrive, we sulk, we doubt, we even give up. But sometimes the absence of a gift is its own kind of lesson. It forces you to ask, what really counts here, the box or the bond? The parents don't have the answer yet. But in their worry, they are already teaching their son something deeper than any toy could offer. Love doesn't need tracking numbers. Neighbor's kindness. Just when the family's mood begins to sink like heavy snow, there's a knock at the door. Not the delivery man, no, it's the neighbors. They're holding a plate of warm Engelsk, those round Danish Christmas pancakes dusted with powdered sugar. We made too many, they say with a smile. Of course, that's a lie. Nobody ever accidentally makes too many pancakes. What they really made was an excuse to share. Denmark is famous for its sense of community. Sociologists call it social trust, the belief that people around you are generally kind and fair. Studies show Danes consistently rank among the happiest people on earth, not because life is perfect, but because they know help is only one knock away. And you can see it here, in this simple plate of pancakes. No package arrived, but kindness did. The little boy's eyes widen. For a moment, he forgets about the missing box. Sugar sticks to his lips, laughter replaces silence, and suddenly the living room feels warmer than any heater could make it. His parents exchange glances. They know the neighbors didn't bring toys or gadgets, but something better. Presents. Here's the kicker. Neuroscience says acts of kindness trigger oxytocin, the so-called love hormone. It doesn't just make you feel fuzzy inside, it literally lowers stress and strengthens your heart. In other words, a shared pancake is basically free medicine. And maybe this is the plot twist we often miss. While we wait desperately for the big, shiny gift, life keeps slipping us smaller ones. Neighbors at the door, cookies on a plate, warmth in a smile. They might not be wrapped, but they're exactly what we need. The package is still missing. But the spirit of Christmas? It just walked through the door, covered in powdered sugar. Silent lesson. Later that evening, when the neighbors have gone and the house is quiet again, the boy sits with a half-eaten pancake on his plate. He's still thinking about the package, of course. Kids don't just forget like flipping a switch. But something has shifted. The sweetness of sugar and the warmth of laughter linger longer than disappointment. It's almost as if the missing gift has been replaced by something invisible, but real. Children learn lessons in silence. Not from long speeches, not from carefully chosen adult words, but from the feeling in a room. Psychologists call it emotional contagion. Moods pass from one person to another without a single word. Tonight, instead of a heavy silence, the boy absorbs the quiet comfort of togetherness. He may not realize it yet, but he's learning a truth many adults spend decades ignoring. Joy isn't always delivered in a box. Think about it. How many times have you expected a breakthrough in your English practice? A magic moment where suddenly you sound fluent. And when it doesn't happen, you sulk. But then one day, you're chatting with a stranger, and without realizing it, you just speak. No package, no wrapping paper. Just the gift of realizing you've already grown. The boy looks at his parents, notices their tired but gentle smiles, and something clicks. Christmas isn't broken just because the package is missing. The spirit of it is still alive, in pancakes, in neighbors, in love that doesn't need proof. That's the silent lesson. Sometimes what you're waiting for never arrives, but what you actually need is already sitting at your table, glowing quietly, waiting for you to notice. Family bond. The next night, the family decides to do something different. Instead of staring at the window waiting for the delivery van, they light candles, make hot chocolate, and pull out old photo albums. The boy leans against his father's arm, giggling at the sight of his parents in funny hairstyles from the 90s. Suddenly, the room bursts with stories, jokes, and laughter. No package required. Sociologists call this collective memory. The way families stitch themselves together through shared stories. It's not the presents that last, it's the moments you replay again and again until they become part of who you are. Studies even show that children who grow up hearing family stories are more resilient, because they understand they're part of something bigger than their own disappointment. And you know what? It works just like language learning. You think progress comes only from textbooks or grammar drills. But often, what really makes your English stronger is simply sharing stories, retelling memories, making jokes, messing up, and laughing together. That's the glue. Not perfect grammar, but the bond of communication. In that Danish living room, the family creates a new kind of gift. The boy still wishes for the package, of course. But when his mother tells the story of how she once fell into a snowbank carrying too many groceries, his laughter says it all. Joy has arrived anyway. Here's the twist nobody expects. Sometimes waiting for something that never comes, open space for something better. And in this case, it's the rediscovery that family itself is the best gift, even if Santa forgot the tracking number. Unexpected gift. Just when everyone has settled into the idea that the package may never come, the doorbell rings. Not the postman, again, but a stranger. He's an elderly man from 2 streets over, holding a small wrapped box. "I found this left at my doorstep by mistake," he says, his breath visible in the cold air. Turns out, the long-lost package took a detour through the neighborhood. The boy's face lights up as if someone switched on the Christmas tree. The parents sigh in relief, but also chuckle. It's almost comical how one misplaced box caused so much drama. Neuroscience would say their brains just got a hit of dopamine, the reward chemical, finally cashing in after days of anticipation. But here's the kicker, they're already smiling before the box is even opened. The real thrill isn't the toy inside, it's the kindness of a stranger who took the time to deliver it. That's how life works, too. You wait and wait for progress in English, for some big result. And when it finally shows up, you realize the real gift was never the certificate, the perfect pronunciation, or the shiny milestone. The real gift was persistence, the fact that you kept showing up, even when it felt pointless. Just like this family, who found joy in pancakes, stories, and togetherness long before the package ever landed in their hands. So the boy tears into the wrapping paper, giggling with delight. The parents smile, not just because of the toy, but because the gift came wrapped in something no store sells. Humanity. Sometimes the best gifts don't come from Santa, Amazon, or the postman. They come from ordinary people who decide, for no reason at all, to care. Reflection night. That evening, after the excitement of unwrapping and playing has settled, the parents sit with their son by the glowing Christmas tree. The toy is on the floor, already half forgotten, but the moment feels heavier than the object ever could. The father clears his throat, the mother leans closer, and together they try to put into words a truth that's hard even for adults to swallow. Giving is greater than receiving. Children don't learn this lesson overnight. To a kid, Christmas is about shiny boxes and tearing paper. But here's the science. As the brain matures, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for empathy, becomes more active. That's why adults can find deep joy in giving, while kids focus on getting. Tonight, the parents plant a seed. They explain that gifts are important not because of their price or size, but because of the love behind them. The boy listens, his small fingers playing with a piece of ribbon. Maybe he doesn't fully understand, but he feels the warmth in his parents' words. And that's enough. Because values aren't taught like multiplication tables. They're absorbed, slowly, like candlelight spreading in the dark. Think about it. How many times have you received something, a compliment, a helping hand, even just someone listening to your clumsy English, and felt it matter more than any object? That's the hidden economy of life, the wealth of giving. The boy finally whispers, "Maybe next year, I can make cookies for the neighbors." His parents smile, because they know the seed has sprouted. Not fully grown yet, but alive, and that reflection, spoken in a child's quiet voice, is more valuable than any gift could ever be. True Christmas spirit. The final night of Christmas arrives, and the Danish winter outside is darker than ever. Yet inside the little house, light spills from candles, laughter echoes in corners, and the missing package drama feels like a distant memory. The family has received more than a toy, they've received perspective. Here's the twist. The package did arrive, but by then it almost didn't matter. Because the real Christmas spirit had already shown up through pancakes, neighbors, stories, and quiet lessons. Science backs this up. Researchers have found that acts of giving release more long-lasting happiness chemicals than receiving ever does. Your brain, it turns out, prefers generosity over greed. It's basically hardwired to remind you that kindness is survival. So when the boy cuddles his toy, he also remembers the warmth of his neighbors, the laughter of his parents, and his own promise to give back next year. And maybe that's the real story. Christmas isn't about perfect timing, or packages arriving on schedule. It's about the messy, human moments in between, the times when love sneaks in disguised as pancakes, or when patience wraps itself around a family like a blanket. And if you're listening closely, maybe you'll realize this story isn't just about Christmas in Denmark. It's about you. About waiting for progress in English, about feeling frustrated, about almost giving up. And yet, the real gift, the one that keeps you alive, motivated, and connected, was never about receiving. It was always about giving, trying, and showing up. That's the spirit. That's the gift. And it never gets lost in the mail. Thanks for watching this Danish Christmas story. True gifts are love, kindness, and patience. Keep practicing English every day with small steps. Subscribe for more slow, clear English stories inspired by life in Denmark.